After the county experienced an architectural boom, the capital of Bunyan's Rest began looking to the new infrastructure designs to expand its city. Alongside a plethora of housing options to assist with the county's homelessness, the city of Bunyan's Rest also constructed a new dual-platform subway system, parks, and a tourist attraction to help strengthen the county's economy. While it undoubtedly expanded the city, many argued that it was a waste of depleting funds. Heyo and welcome to another episode of Pine Harbor County, where we will use and abuse the new operating district mechanic that was introduced in Cities Skylines 2. In the last episode, we built this high-rise office park to assist with the changes that came with the Economy 2.0 patch. If you happen to miss that episode, please click on the info card above or check out the entire Pine Harbor County playlist in the description below. In today's episode, we are going to continue expanding on Bunyan's Rest by using the new assets that were introduced in the Detailer's patch and plop a few new tourism assets, maybe some more zoning, maybe a few park fusions and some custom parks. Because, we have Surface Painter now. Anyway, let's jump right on into it. So something I would like to do today is work on our high-density residential demand here. So where I'm going to start is actually coming in and framing off this area right here so that we can get some housing in this area. I think this should be pretty ideal. There's no air pollution. There won't be any ground or air pollution in general because all of our industry is quite far away from here and blowing in the opposite direction out that way. The noise pollution is mediocre. The police headquarters will generate a lot of noise pollution, but I think the apartment buildings will be okay even with that. So anyway, let's jump on in here and let's get in some frontage roads and some building in general. Lovely. So we have some basic grids in this area here that we can kind of work in some zoning. And I want to next come in and play around with these lovely, very, very lovely new parking assets that we have, as well as some of the larger parks, like this Passage Park right here. I just absolutely adore it. I cannot help myself. I just really like how this looks. So I'm looking forward to kind of getting to use it quite a bit here. So let's jump on in and let's play around with these a little bit here. I definitely went a little nuts on the passage parks, but I wanted these so bad in Cities Skylines 2. Skylines 1. So the fact that they added it to Cities Skylines 2 just makes me so happy. Same with these very chunky wide parking lots, and the fact that I can now change how far the surface decals stretch. Like, I can create massive USA parking lots. It's just so nice. So we did a little bit there. So let's work on the next part of this area. I want to get some very chunky, high-rise, high-density residential apartments in this area. And I'm going to be a little strategic about it. I want to make sure I don't lose my line of sight. And you'll actually notice I already have been a little strategic by putting the passage parks here and a parking lot there. That way you still get the line of sight of the police headquarters. And same with the road here. You'll still have the line of sight on the Central Intelligence Bureau. And I might actually even add in some more long parking lots to kind of help reserve that space. But let's jump into a bit of a time lapse here and start doing the zoning part. guys, how do you think it turned out? We have created quite the monster of traffic here, but this will end up evening itself out once everyone has moved in. And while we were off camera building everything in, I just came in here. The sheer number of people walking in this area just makes me so happy, because this is what makes it feel like a city to me, is crowds and crowds of people. But everyone is coming in off our regional train line here. And we get just so many great views of people walking around. This area is actually something we built way, way back. It's a little commercial district. But still, so many people. So many people. Next, I want to take advantage of this elevated subway station, especially because it has 2 dual platforms. We already took advantage of it once over here in our office park last episode, but I want to add one in right here too. One, because then the elevation we can hypothetically slip right underneath the highway here so we can connect to this area at Bunyan's Rest. And because I would like to be able to run another subway line from near our university area, our technical university, all the way up and out into this area. So let's jump on in. I'm gonna erase this temporary landform that we put in a while ago, and let's get in that subway station. right, so that came out a little bit different than I was initially planning, and part of it was because I was actually a little afraid that if I created a connection right here, it would end up being too congested. I want to keep all the main road, or all the main traffic, I'm sorry, here on Dale Street here. If we need to, we can reconnect it. Nothing, you know, stops us from deleting and going again. But now that we have this in, and I just really, really love that we have an elevated dual subway, let's fix up the lines a little bit here. So this green line here is subway line 1. And I want to keep subway line 1 kind of on the left-hand side platform here. And then we're going to add in subway line 4. We'll make this one kind of, let's make it yellow actually. And then let's just come on in here, and I want to make sure everything is actually as low as possible for our assigned vehicles. And I want to make it a 15 monies here. Awesome. And then this now yellow line will be able to connect out into this area and run parallel or share a track line with the red line or subway line 3. Awesome. I absolutely adore that we have this now. Yay! All right, so next I want to get a landmark in here, and I actually want to do that for 2 reasons. One, I want to entice more tourism into our capital city. We've got a decent amount of light blue and a little bit of green, but I want this to be like the destination. So we're gonna come in and we're gonna work on that. And then I also just noticed when messing around a little bit here, Notre Dame goes really, really well right here. So let's come on in and let's line the Notre Dame cathedral right as evenly as we can with our pedestrian path that we have here. And then I'm going to do something very special with this one and play with our new surface tools. So let's jump on in and let's mess around with that a little bit. Haven't figured it out yet. I really love these passage parks. So we have a little green strip right here, and I framed it in with a path so that we could get a nice shape. We'll come back in during the Beautifying the Build time lapse and fill this in with a little bit of flowering. But for now, this is what I really, really liked. I loved just how this looked, and I'm thinking what we should do, because we need to put a little something in here. I think we'll come in, let's get a slope going. Cool. So we'll frame that off just like that. Let's take a look at what other parks we could potentially put in here. I don't know, guys. The good old Passage Park might end up striking there again. We'll think on that for a little bit for now. All right, guys. So I think there is going to actually be one more landmark I want to add here before we get into zoning this area out. And I want to add... Where is our parks here? I want to add this tower in right here. And I think it would look really good also right here. So I'm going to do a little bit of terraforming here and even out our terrain. And then I think what I would like to do with this one is get it in kind of at an angle here. So we are going to go just like so. Get a little bit more terraforming actually. All right, let's see how that looks. So if we're coming in off the highway. Okay, so we'll have the two tall peaked towers. Awesome. Okay, I think that's actually going to look really wicked nice there. So let's square this off, give it some roading. And then what I think I would like to do is actually kind of square this off into a key wall. But for some reason my mods didn't load, so give me 1 second, everyone. All right, and we're back with our mods and some caffeine. All right, let's actually key wall this now and let's connect everything into the road layout and probably just finish up that road layout as well. Pretty good for the last of our landmarks in this area and road layout. Okay, so I may have spoiled a bit of the detailer's patch thus far, as I really could not resist playing around with it, and obviously that kind of just shows how excited I was to finally have surface tools at our disposal. So I thought it might be fun to make a custom park before jumping into an actual Beautifying the Build time lapse. So I thought we had a pretty nice little block of area right here that we can create a custom park with, and it'll give us a great viewpoint of the Notre Dame. So let's come on in here, and I'm gonna start by actually deleting some of these trees in the front. So that way we have a clear view here. And I think I'm gonna try my best to make a scalloped sort of garden bed here. And I do want to make sure I have a couple of pathways in here. And then I'm gonna frame the path with some of the surface tools. So let's come on in here and sort of start a pattern of maybe, actually, I think the continuous tool will actually be easier for us here. So we're gonna go up 2 and over 2. So we'll go 25 for each one. And then let's do 14 for the inside, I think should be okay. And we're going to come back in here in a second. We are going to delete all of these crosswalks as they are really not necessary. I'm actually almost kind of tempted to turn this into a pedestrian road, but I want to get some zoning in here too. So we will delete all of these crossings because they are quite overkill. And then let's see if we can continue the next level to this pattern. So what I think I'm now going to do is kind of come into the middle spot as best I can. Oop, go back into our continuous tool as well. We'll go 43, I think, on this one. Actually, I kind of like 35 a little better. Let's see if we can get this in at 35. I think what I'd like to do, I'm going to leave this area, I think, blank because I've got some good chunks of zoning in here. And I kind of do want to use that chunk of zoning if I can. We'll leave this a little bit more open. Let's come on in and get our surface painter in first. So I think I would like to use a tiled surface. How about this one? And I'm gonna frame in everything right here. So I've been finding lately that turning the snapping off for this particular surface painter tool is actually kind of easy because, or it makes it easier, I'm sorry, because it makes it so you can just kind of go underneath the path. That way you don't get any weird clipping with the in-game surface underneath and the surface you're trying to add. I don't know, I think it's just a little bit cleaner this way. but let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Have you gotten to play with the surface tool yet? And if you have, what kind of snapping do you like in particular? That's actually kind of cool that the people are walking through this. Oh, I like that a lot. All right, so next, what I'm gonna do is something a little bit different. Maybe not different, but I'm just gonna fill this whole area in with just grass. And this is where it gets a little tricky for me because I've got to watch out for the other surface. But I need to be able to fill everything in. It's also why I kind of like using paths to frame out where my surfaces will be going. And then this one, I'm just going to be a little bit more sneaky with it and pull down the existing parkway. Parkway, that's not what I'm looking for. Oh, but goodness, here we go with another cup of coffee, guys. Cool. That is some green space if I ever did see it. All right, so I'm gonna replicate this on the other side and I will be right back. All right, I've got everything in there now and I really like how that came out. So now I want to decorate parts of this up with some flora. And I do also want to make sure I'm leaving enough green space with this. So what I'm thinking is just coming in with a few small assets and kind of framing different parts of this. So how about we frame right here? I am going to totally cheat and use my mods. Because I think a little something like that will add a little bit of spice. And then we'll add, oop. Let's not add that many trees. We'll add a tree in as well to each one of these smaller segments here. So let's go in and let's finish framing out the rest of those. And then I think maybe one big hickory in each of the larger scallops that border the road will also be good. And then where I think I want to change up next is up along the fence line of our passage park. I just want to get a nice long hedge of the cultivated flowering bush number 3. And then frame it even lower then with the cultivated flowering bush 2. Do we want? Yeah, actually, let's first do a row of bush 1 and then we'll do bush 2. Because what I'm trying to add here is just a little bit of layered height and a whole lot of color. Obviously no color right now because we're in the midst of winter. There we go. So let's kind of come down to as low as we can go here. Probably better if we get our cinematic camera going. I think that just frames that area very nicely. We could then just come on in with a couple of wildflowers and create just a little bit of a pop of color in these areas. There we go. And I will replicate this up on the other side here, kind of off camera, just to kind of keep everything flowing, keep everything nice. Do you want to delete that? And I want to delete that because I want this to be nice open space. Maybe eventually when we get some props in the game, we can put some tables where the tiled surface painter is, and maybe like a couple of playground items like some slides and swings in the area and the other green areas. Okay, now I've gone kind of back and forth with what I want to put into these blocks right here, and I think I'm actually going to put more parks, especially because I want a lot of people walking around this area. So I thought it might be a good idea to put a hedge park right here, and then I'm going to connect in the little paths that they have right up to our existing path. I'm actually going to do something kind of cool with this one because I just had a rather maniacal idea. So let's actually extend it up a little bit. Let's grab our continuous tool and make a little circle. All right, let's come back into the parks. And then I thought a nice small ring park right here would be really good. Well, let's actually get 2 in. There we go. And we'll get 2 little ring parks in right there. I wonder if we can connect those up with a path. Ooh, we can. Oh, I love all the things we can do with this. All right, how do I want to connect you? I do want to connect it in a curve, but there is something in the way there, not liking the paths. So... we won't connect those paths. If there's one thing I'm noticing about these new parks is, yes, you can connect the paths. It's a cantankerous little bugger to mess with, though. So we'll leave that just like so, as people can get in and out of this area without needing the pathway itself because they are connected to the road and functional. I think that was a nice little way of creating a custom park with our new surface tools, as well as the new assets that we have. I really like putting this little circle here. It just makes me so happy. Okay, let's work on zoning this area in here. And you will have seen that I have created some additional roads here as well. That's because when I'm looking at this angle, I want to be able to have an idea of where future zoning is going to go, so I can work on the skyline tapering in and out, you know, appropriately. Especially because when I want people looking, like say you were coming in off this passenger ship, this is the view we have so far. So I want to keep our skyline kind of going right here, but I also have to watch our layer of heights when you're looking from Braeburn, Alders Bend, and Ashton. So yeah, let's jump on in. Let's get some zoning in. I may or may not actually zone this area just yet, kind of based on our demand bars, because I would like this to be, for the most part, either low commercial, some low commercial or some medium density housing. And right now, our demand is mainly for a high density. We spiked to an unemployment of 20%, which to me kind of makes sense because all of this is now looking for employment. And I am still hemorrhaging about $500,000 an hour. Still not super worried about it because we had actually reached the cap the game allows you to have in money. But nonetheless, we do have to pay attention. So let's jump on in and get some zoning done. this is what we ended up with. What do you guys think? Do you like it? I kind of like when we scroll out kind of this far. Again, that skyline starts coming right in there. We'll probably put some more taller buildings right here. Just still kind of deciding because we have quite a bit of highway right here. All right, guys, let's kind of jump into a beautifying the build time lapse and start doing some more finer details in some of these areas here. Alrighty, everyone, I think that just about wraps up today's episode. Today, we increased our tax revenue by about 3,000 monies, utilized the new assets that came in with the detailer's patch, and created this very nice little tourism and zoning area near the waterfront. Next week, we will take a break from Bunyan's Rest and allow these buildings to level up by beginning a small rural area with a focus on the lumber industry. So if you're excited to watch next week's rural build, hit that like button and let me know your favorite part of today's episode down in the comments. But before you go to do that, we are a small but growing channel looking to provide you some entertainment, so please consider hitting that subscribe button below. Until next time, I hope everyone has a phenomenal week.